Today's episode is called, Hey, give me some of that. Today's episode is called, Hey, give me some of that. Today's episode is called, Hey, give me some of that. What's up, yardies, and welcome to the Backyard Variety Tour. I'm your host, Ian Pozz, and this is episode 2500. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I've got my murderer's row of drinks here, my beer, my coffee, my water. Again, I'm drinking a Cosmic Compass from Broken Stick Brew Co. That's brokenstickbrewing.com. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode, and as always, we couldn't be here without the help of our friend Russell behind the scenes. Thanks to Russell behind the scenes. As always, thanks to Russell. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to the show. Today, what are we going to do? Today, we're going to do Top 10 female lead performances in movies. Top 10 female lead performances in movies. So we'll get to that in just a little bit. And just to let you know a little something different that I'm going to do with the top 10 female led movies is I'm going to start at 1 and just count up to 10. We're going to start with the best and go to the worst, or the still good. I mean, it's a top 10. They're all going to be good. But you know what I mean. So every cast starts at 10 and they work their way down, so you watch, so they hook you and they get you to watch all the way to 1. But it's like big friggin' deal. And then I was thinking about it, it's kind of like acting and performing. When you come in first off the top, you're probably going to give your best stuff, so that's when you got to be recording. So why would I wait? Why would I wait till I'm tired of going through the list to be able to want to talk about my favorite ones? I should be talking about my favorite ones when I have the energy right off the top. Now, the alternative side to that is maybe I don't need to. Now, the alternative side to that is maybe because since they are my favorite ones, I actually don't need as much energy because it just comes easier because they are my favorite, so I don't need to necessarily think about it so much with spewing the stuff out. But why am I having an argument with myself? Let's get into it. Okay. Whatever, I'll just do it. Okay, so I don't know if you saw the episode I did. I don't know if you saw the impression I did recently there, but I noticed the bags under my eyes, and I was like, geez, I miss the times when I used to have a lady in my life to be able to be like, here, why don't you use this or whatever. They always got these things. They're like a drug dealer for cosmetics and creams and everything. And that's what I definitely need. I definitely need some cream or something for the bags under my eyes and get that youthful look back again. Because it's got that female touch, that female touch. When I've had girlfriends, they put me onto certain shampoos that I'm like, whoa! Or put me on those nose strips, BRA nose strips. And I'm like, you know what? Those are pretty sweet. Or I had another one, used to love popping zits, popping pimples and like watching the shit pus out or whatever it is. Or blackheads or whatever it is. And then another girl was like, oh, I fucking love to do that too. And I was like, oh my God. How many other girls also love to do that? Is that a thing? Yeah, so now I need some sort of face cream, some sort of eye cream or whatever. So any girl that wants to come in and be the next lady in my life, make sure you bring along some facial cream. Oh boy.
Cancelled.
Oh wait. Okay, we're gonna get into the top 10 female lead movies in just a second. One other thing was that I heard recently that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman admitted that they drink tequila or beer, used to drink beer on the air, and it's like, welcome to the party, pal.
Cancelled.
Apparently there was like an uprising or people are upset that they're having some tequila on the air. It's like, big friggin' deal. What are we living in, the 1950s? When did everyone get so uptight? Like from the 50s to 70s, people were allowed to smoke, drink, do whatever on TV. It didn't matter. And they're probably actually considered cooler for doing so. How did we get more uptight than the 1950s? I'm looking forward to future cooler years and decades when pettiness doesn't detract from priority. Anyways, that kind of leads into our half-assed jokes. The 2020s feels like the 1950s. You can't say anything, you can't do anything. Everyone has crew cuts and it's boring as fuck. Okay, half-assed jokes. You got your smart car, your smartphone, your smart TV. The only thing left is all the dumb people buying them. Okay, we want to thank Bat Moston for that half-assed joke. Thanks for sending that in. That was a good one. And the first one, well, that was mine. I think you could probably tell. Okay, let's get into the top 10 female-led movies. Okay, people, so like I said, we're starting at number 1. And that's going to be Erin Brockovich, okay? I don't know what it is about this movie. There's something special. It captures a lot of different things. Soderbergh directs it. An amazing performance by Jessica Roberts? What the hell's her name? Julia Roberts. Amazing, I think Aaron Eckhart plays some like biker boyfriend in a different kind of role before he became like kind of more of a leading man and got cleaned up and everything. He's good. I wish I could remember the guy's name who plays the lawyer who kind of helps her out. But I mean, it's a heavy movie, but she's just striving, and all the different shades and colors, but how deep and heavy it is about all the cancer and the water and all that stuff. It's super emotional, but it's handled so well. And so that's probably my number one. And it's very high on my list for just great movie all time. Not just female led. So, okay, number 2, Zero Dark 30. Zero Dark 30. Jessica, what's her name? Not Biel. Chastain. Jessica Chastain. She's great in this. Super solid. Even better than she was in Molly's Game, even though you can tell she dove into that too. This is an okay movie, but Zero Dark 30, the last half hour is about the Bin Laden raid. It's very realistic. It's almost all night vision, a little bit of both, half and half kind of thing, but it's 30 minutes of just the Bin Laden raid going into the compound. Super intense, such a thrilling movie. Very scary movie. You know, they hook you right off the beginning. Like when they play those audio clips sometimes against like a black screen, sometimes that's more disturbing than actually seeing the visual of these things. So that hooks you right away. And then you got like a 2.5-3 hour movie that's just pretty entertaining and thrilling and exciting and story developing the whole time. And bombs. The crazy thing about bombs in movies, they can just go off. You don't need to explain that someone planted, because you'll just put it to, someone obviously planted a bomb. But it's kind of that thrilling or exciting and scary thing that they can just go off at any time. Whereas it's different if you see a bunch of guys burst into a hotel with guns. You know there's going to be some people that are going to get killed, you know, but the bomb is there. You don't even know the bomb's there maybe till it goes off. So that's a scary thing. A lot of military stuff in this movie. A lot of SEAL Team 6 type stuff. There was an audio book that I bought that it's based off of called No Easy Day, which is very cool. It's about these SEAL Team 6 guys and the background to it and all that. It was a very good audio book. And basically the SEAL Team 6 guys are in it kind of just at the end, almost for like just the last half hour, and it's like Joel Edgerton, Chris Pratt, some of these funny guys. Chris Pratt has a great line where it's this very teamwork inspired thing where he's predicting that they're gonna live at the end because like he's putting that thought that they're all gonna return home safely in the end, because he's on the helicopter listening to something. Someone's like, hey, what are you listening to? And he's like, Tony Robbins. I got some really inspiring stuff I want to tell you guys about after this. And that's a leadership move. It's bringing humor, but it's also saying, hey, we're all going to survive. It's putting the positive mindset that they're all going to survive, and he's going to be telling them. So like that's the very subtle underlying things there. But Jessica Chastain, great line. She meets Tony Soprano at the end. James Gandolfini's in it, and he's like, who are you? She's like, I'm the motherfucker who caught this guy. Or I'm the motherfucker who found this guy. Who used to do that? Someone used to do that as like an add-on to their laugh in high school. They'd laugh and be like, they did a tack on. Who does that? A tack on. It's like an extra mic drop on top of your laugh. Shit, like what would my tack on be? Like, buzzing! Buzzing! Oh, fuck, I suck at tack-ons. Anyway, Zero Dark 30, Jessica Chastain, very strong in this. That's my number 2. Okay, number 3, another baller flick, Sicario. Emily Blunt in Sicario. It's my number 3. She's solid in this. Normally, I actually don't really like her. You know, A Quiet Place, it's like, okay, you know, decent movie. Different, but I'm never really like 100% sold on her. I don't know what to think of her. I don't know what to think of her face. She's pretty and stuff, but like I don't know, when she's acting I'm just like. But in Sicario, that's when things come together. Okay, she's subtle, she's strong, she doesn't show much emotion. She's, I don't want to say a stone cold killer, because she's still she's feeling things out a lot in the movie, but that's why she's playing her cards close to her chest, which is good. But it's just a strong movie, everything coming together. Strong supporting characters in Benicio, strong director, one of the strongest directors in Denis Villeneuve, Canadian. What else? Oh, Daniel I can never remember. Daniel Kumalaya or something? I don't know. Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. Daniel Kumbaya, yeah, that's it, from Get Out. He's great in it. He's got very small parts, but he's fucking serious and badass in it too, and I love the way he protects her. He's got her back, so that's really great. What else? Just a baller flick. I mean, the sound, it's too bad the guy who did the sound died for it, like right after that. The soundtrack is incredible, sucks you right in. Impact, you're like, whoa, this is crazy ass shit. The shit they show in that movie too, like when they get to Mexico and he's like, welcome to Juarez, and there's just like naked people hanging with like body parts chopped off and stuff, and like that's how they do things there. Some pretty fucking crazy shit. And that highway scene when she's in the highway and that one dude in like the snake mask pops up in her rear view and she's like, fuck, like she's awesome. She's stellar in this. Great ending to the movie, all that stuff. Sicario. The beard's actually coming in nicely. I kind of like this shadow a bit. Okay, getting back to it. T1 and T2. Linda Hamilton. T1 and T2. Okay, it's going to be a bit tougher. It's been a while since I've seen these. I've probably seen... Actually, did I see T1 somewhat recently more than T2? I don't know. Who cares? Okay, so Linda Hamilton, number one. She's a bit more haggard running around, number one, because she doesn't know what's going on. This thing's after her. Reese is like, I'm your fucking baby's daddy, and I also want to screw you and kill this monster from the future. And you're like, what? But T2, but I had to combine them, because how can you not? Because the first one is still pretty much, she's still a huge factor in that. But T2, when she's locked in that psychiatry office or whatever it is, she's solid in that. She's solid how she gets her revenge on the couple of guards and how she escapes, that scene of her escaping and all that, and then hitting the road and so many iconic scenes when she's in like the military kind of hat at the end and stuff like that. Looks at the old photo. So some very cool stuff. Very strong female-led performance there. That's my number 4. Okay, number 5, Spring Breakers. Great director, Harmony Korine. You're getting some kind of weird, this is probably his most mainstream movie, even though not Ghost Dog, not Sheepdog, Moondog. Moondog was a bit more mainstream with McConaughey. Welcome to the Moondog, searching through the moon fog. Pretty funny, it's just basically Matthew McConaughey's life if cameras just followed him around. It's just super stoner. It's hilarious. Spring Breakers. So, pretty badass movie, like they wear the colored ski masks. That's kind of iconic image that really caught on, the neon ski masks. It's just some really weird, James Franco's a freak in it, he crosses the line, goes over the edge in some things. You're really like, wow, committed. Yeah, some crazy stuff. It's not a super exciting movie. It's kind of like oddly depressing and weird, and you're like, Florida, okay, Florida, or like Palm Springs or Spring Break. You're like, yeah, I don't know. None of that looks fun to me. So yeah, call me crazy, but oh yeah, but pretty sweet iconic scenes, when they robbed that, what was it, a diner, and the car's outside driving and you're just seeing the inside through the windows a little bit. That's cool. There's some weird, when they're in the strip club, what's that scene when they're in the strip club and the camera just keeps panning back and forth between James Franco and the rapper, and like, is something gonna happen, it's not gonna, I'm like, this movie's so fucking weird. Playing the piano outside, Franco's playing the piano, isn't he playing some Britney Spears track or something like that? Very sexy movie, shot very sexy. The party scenes were real. They just like went to spring break and just partied with a bunch of people, and you just get them to sign waivers to say they want to be in the movie, and that's it. You get their likeness. You don't need to pay them. So all that shit at the beginning, topless girls, people hitting beer bongs, people smoking, doing whatever, doing crazy shit, that's all real shit. Okay, number 6, going to an oldie but goodie, Charlize Theron in Monster. It took me a while to come around to this movie. I almost didn't want to like it or didn't want to watch it for some reason. And then when I finally sat down and gave it a chance, it's really strong. She looks absolutely disgusting with all this makeup they put on her. She's so gross, and like her voice and her posture at times. I'm like, ugh. So she nailed it. She knocked it out of the park. Not that I know who the lady she was looking like was supposed to, or I did see a picture at one point and I was like, oh yeah, that's bang on. That's bang on. Anyways, so she just basically goes on a killing spree of killing men. And I think it's weird from what I remember, because I was like, oh, she's killing men who want to have sex with her, which is weird because you think she would want the attention, but at least from what I remember, that's it. Anyway, she gets teamed up with Christina Ricci somewhere along the line. I think they start killing people together. Either way, it's a strong performance. I think she won the Oscar that year for it. Okay, next up is Network. Network, another oldie but goodie. This one from the 70s. It's a very powerful film. Faye Dunaway's got a strong leading performance in there. She runs a network. A news anchor network, and it basically it's got that famous line from that guy who's like, I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore. He's a newscaster who like loses his mind on air and starts telling the truth, or starts telling things that people don't want to hear or whatever. So and then the interesting thing is, instead of like firing him, or I think whatever, but they exploit him. They decide to exploit him, right? They decide to exploit his craziness, his craziness, right? Because that's what they'll try and do. They'll try and spin you crazy. Yeah, so then they exploit his craziness, and he actually becomes a huge star. So it's kind of like the whole social, like, get canceled to be successful thing, which is all happening right now. And then beyond that, it's got a very crazy ending, a very unsuspecting ending, which movies from the 70s used to do all the times, because they had balls. They made choices. They made bold choices. Everybody wants you. They say they want bold. Like, I was seeing a network recently was like, oh, we want bold. Send us your bold ideas. They don't want bold. They want go along with what goes along, go along with their agenda, blah, blah, blah. They don't want bold. And believe me, I think certain agendas are right, and I think other certain agendas are right, but I don't believe in pushing your agenda on other people. All you need to do is meet in the middle with kindness and go your separate ways. I got my agenda, you got yours. Let's just meet in the middle with kindness, go our separate ways. Anyway, so they exploit him, he becomes a huge star, blah, blah, blah. The ending is super cool. Joker took a lot of inspiration from the ending. Joker took a lot of inspiration from 70s movies that had balls. So that's what it is. So Network, check it out. Very cool ending. It's not the same as Joker. So don't think you're going in, but you'll see. It's very cool. Yeah, that's a female-led movie, Faye Dunaway, and Faye Dunaway kind of plays a little bit of a bad guy, she's kind of sleazy in this, and it's interesting point of view and take and how relevant it is to today as well. So, and that's a movie from the 70s, so it's some people may think it's a bit slower or whatever, but it's got a big payoff, and it's one of those movies that makes you think. You might go a couple days afterwards and be like, oh, that movie actually impacted me. So, Network. Okay, coming in at number 8. Mean Girls. One of the best comedies. I think, Bridesmaid and Mean Girls are kind of around in the realm for me of like very funny female comedies. Bridesmaid is definitely one of the ones that I laughed at recently out loud, but just Mean Girls I thought was just a bit of a stronger movie all in all, because it also has a little bit of heart. Bridesmaids didn't have too much heart, had a little bit of that phony heart for like a big blockbuster movie, had definitely more comedy than heart, and they tried to fake you out with heart with that boyfriend and blah, 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 but that wasn't really real heart. They were still taking shits in sinks and wedding dresses and on the street, and like that was slapstick kind of comedy. But Mean Girls got a bit deeper. It was more about emotions and how you're treated and how people are treated, and the thing of high school, the cliques in high school, and how some of that stuff doesn't mean anything, and even that fake out ending is kind of hilarious at the end. And that song, that score, that Halison, what's it called? Halison On and On or something, that song? Whatever, that instrumental song is cool that they use in it. Tim Meadows is hilarious, Tina Fey. All the girls in it are very good too, even the mean girls, like Rachel McAdams and that chick from Party of Five, who I used to have a crush on when she was on Party of Five. She's super cute and talented, and yeah, so that's a very good movie. Okay, number 9, a bit deeper and a bit artistic. Black and White, Frances Ha. It's done by Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig when she was acting, before she was directing as well, I think. And she's all awkward, and if you can deal with like her awkwardness and stuff, actually I'd say she's less awkward in movies than she is in real life. In real life, like listening to her in an interview, it's like well, she like can never get her words out. It's like a kid stuttering or something. It's like and then I went to, 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 it's just like, fuck, I can't even listen to her in real life. But Frances Ha, good movie. Her, Adam Driver, I think, is she a lesbian at the end or something like that? But she's like, I love that line where it's just like, oh, you can look across the room and you're talking to someone and someone else is talking to someone across the room, but you look across the room and you just make that eye contact or whatever, and you know that there's something special between you or something like that. and you don't need to say anything. So that's a cute line. I love that scene where she's running down the street. I think it's to a David Bowie song. She's just running down New York. She's all excited. Very cool scene. And it's about like awkward relationships and blah, blah, blah. So there's some emotion, there's vulnerability. I don't know, I like it. It's a good movie. Okay, and moving on, number 10. I had a tie for number 10. I couldn't really decide between these two, and I ended up with The Virgin Suicides and Short Term 12. Now, I had to include Short Term 12 because I watched it, and it's a great movie. It's got this one dude who's a good actor. I can't remember his name, but he's also in 10 Cloverfield Lane as another dude who lives in the basement with John Goodman before the girl arrives. So he's in it. What was I just talking about? Short Term 12. And then Brie Larson, obviously Brie Larson. I'm in love with Brie Larson. If there was one celebrity girl, what's that Arrested Development line? Marry me. Yeah. So I want to marry Brie Larson, and I love her. She's great in Room, and she's great in Short Term 12. I don't like any of the other nonsense she's really in. She played a sister in another movie that was okay, but I don't like any of the Marvel comic book stuff. I don't like how she's basically doing an OnlyFans, but it's yoga online where she's just like I don't even like, it's so disgusting. I don't even watch that as much as I'd want to, but I am in love with her. So Brie Larson in Short Term 12, and then Kirsten Dunst and the whole like 70s vibe and whole yellow, the trees, everything, the way it's shot. Josh Hartnett walking down the high school hall to Barracuda or whatever it is, all that Heart music and his fucking hair, and then Kirsten Dunst and the girls, and they're always in these white dresses. It's all very like religious and symbolic and very fucking weird, and anyway, but cool. It's and coming of age, and it's very strange. And then then what they all do obviously is crazy, and yeah, so that movie's a trip. So The Virgin Suicide, Short Term 12. Virgin Suicide, Short Term 12, 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 Virgin Suicide. Okay, and we'll get to the honorable mentions. Got a couple honorable mentions. The Exorcist, obviously that was huge. Like, I don't even know how old that girl was at the time, maybe 16 or something like that. And the makeup that they would have had to put on her, and tons. And she must have spent hours in the chair. So the patience at that age, and all the crazy shit she had to do at that age, where she's just like peeing on the floor and puking, and the crazy shit she's saying, and the stabbing and the twisting of the head, and the banging of the bed. And that movie is. And then another trippy one, Rosemary's Baby, with is it Mia Farrow and John Cassavetes? And that's another very dreamy, kind of freaky, weird movie. So that's an honorable mention. And then finally, Black Swan. Darren Aronofsky, crazy director, bold choices, love it. Actually, I probably could have included Mother. Throw Mother in the honorable choices. I thought that was like a crazy fever dream, which he says that's what it felt like when he wrote it. And it is like Mother is like being trapped in a nightmare, because there's just so much crazy shit happening and you can't wake up. That's what it feels like. You just can't get these people out of your house. So that's cool. But yeah, Black Swan, also by Aronofsky, with Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis. That's very crazy, and the competition between the two to be the Black Swan and everything that's happening. It's very dark and disturbing and trippy and weird and insightful, makes you think, all that kind of crazy stuff. So, and that's it. And that brings us to an end to the top 10 female-led movies with your couple honorable mentions there. And as always, keep on the grass.